Alright guys, I want to give you a little bit of an example here on how to do the cartoon projects, and since I'm not here I'm going to show you on the camera here what to do. So first thing you do, you have this grid on your paper that you've already drawn. So you guys are good to go on that. What some people like to do is they like to actually number their grid so that it matches the grid that's actually on the cartoon. And you can do that if you want. You don't have to do it, but you can if that'll help you. And then you have your cartoon, and your cartoon already has numbers on your grid. This one doesn't because it's just an example, but you guys already have yours on there, so you don't have to worry about this part. Okay, so remember on Friday when I said to you the most important part and the most pain in the neck part of this project is getting your grid accurate. So the first thing you have to do today is you have to get your grid accurate and finish it so that your grid can be perfect for your cartoon, and that'll make your cartoon a whole lot easier to draw and a lot quicker to draw. So if you spend time making this grid very accurately, then your cartoon will go on a lot smoother. So focus on that first. But because a lot of you are going to be in different spots on your cartoon, I'm going to tell you now how to do the cartoon so that when you're done with your grid, you can just go right on to your cartoon. So first thing, and a lot of people like to use sticky notes, you're just going to draw square by square. And remember, I have a basket, a blue basket of sticky notes, a blue basket of erasers back on my back desk that you're welcome to use, and then when you're done just turn them into the back blue basket. So if I look at this square right here, that's the first square, it matches up with this square. There's nothing in this square, so I don't have to draw anything in that square. So I'm done with one square. Then if I move over one, and you always want to move either one over or one up. You don't want to go you know, like around randomly, otherwise you're going to mess up on the squares. So this square here has a little smidgen of that circle in it, so I'm going to draw kind of right a little smidgen of that circle right up in the same spot where it is on this square. It's just going to be bigger, but it's in the same corner here, just a little smidgen, and I drew that part. And then I'm going to move on over to the next square here. Alright, and I noticed that on this one, this outline of the Tom and Jerry circle kind of continues, and I noticed that it ends up over on this side a little bit more than halfway down. So I'm just going to kind of keep drawing that circle and having it end up right there a little bit more than halfway down. And then I notice Tom's paw or foot or whatever kind of curls up right about here, so I'm going to estimate that's right about here, and I'm going to curl his foot up like that. And that's the only thing in that square as far as drawing goes. And I'm going to show you just one more square here, and then I think you guys probably got the hint of what to do. So his toes here, or hands or fingers or whatever they are, when in this square I noticed that his one kind of toe or finger starts here and goes up to the top, but it's a little bit of a smidgen. It doesn't really take up a lot of space. And so I just curled his toe up, but then I see the other one starts right about in here and it goes up to a little bit more than halfway. So I'm going to curl his toe up to a little bit more than halfway there. And then I look at that and I go, that's not quite halfway. I'm going to erase that and move it over a little bit. So you're going to be doing a lot of erasing and adjusting as you do this. And that's all right, because when you color it at the end and outline it at the end, it'll cover up all those eraser marks. So don't worry about that. The other thing, one last thing I noticed, this little part of the circle continues on down. So I'm going to continue it on down to the bottom corner here. So we get the outline of the circle there. Okay, so just think of it as a bunch of lines and curlicues and circles that you're drawing, and then they all come together to form the actual shape. And finally, one last thing, I'm going to give you a hint. The eyeballs tend to be the hardest on all of these figures. Who knows why, but they are. So when you do an eyeball, just get the eyeball on there, but then when the whole picture's done, if you need to do any adjusting, you're welcome to go back and adjust eyeballs. If you look at something and say, oh, that doesn't look right, feel free to go back and adjust what you need. Alright, so your job today is to get your grid perfectly done, and then you start drawing on your cartoon. That's your goal for today. You won't finish your cartoon, that's alright. We'll work on it tomorrow. Okay? Have a good day, and make sure you tell Mrs. Perschbacher thanks for being here today, because she's always the best. Thanks, guys.